Welcome to NIOS live classes. Subject: Library Senior Secondary Level. Code number 339. Subject: Library and Information Science. Lesson number 12. Library and Information Services for the users. Part 1. Difficult words. First word is researcher. Researcher is a person who discovers new words or explain the topic through their studies. They can be researched through online, through library books and etc. For example, we can take the example of COVID. Next is essential. Essential is something important which is needed. Next is organize. Organize is something places things and books accordingly and on the page so it will look clear and organized. Next is resource. Resource can be anything, whether it is book, computer, website, Google, etc. Resource is used when we need something, so we use resource to resolve them. Next is recreation. Recreation is kind of something used to feel free to your mind. For example, after study something, you need a break, so you play, draw, sleep or play music, etc. Next is assistance. Assistant is type of help giving to the needed person or guiding to the person. Next is service. Service can include anything which is providing through a person or a digital way, etc. to the needed person. Next is desirable. Desirable, it means similar to the decision whether to buy book or not. Next is supplement. Supplement is kind of a text support or a digital support which helps us to give the real meaning of the words. Next is professional. Professional is something which is professionalized or we do for officially, not as an informal. For example, police, lawyer, etc. Next is literature. Literature can be anything, whether it is history, geography, science or English. It is related to our culture, our food, etc. Next is bibliography. Next is evolution. Evaluation is kind of assessment or analyzing our performances, how much we improve and what we got in the result and a feedback. These all include in the evaluation. Evaluation is taken after the reading. Next is traditional. Traditional is something which is linked to our previous cultural. Next is sufficient. Sufficient is same as the satisfied. For example, we eat food and after eating the food, we satisfied our hunger. Same as for we want to buy our house, so before that we collect money and when it's sufficient to buy home, so we buy the home. Next is render. Render, it means to a person giving a needed person to something which he or she needed. Next is regulation. Regulation is something like rules to follow in a place like library, class, office, etc. Next is magazine. Magazine is also similar to the books, but the difference is magazine includes a general type of topics, context with the actual pictures in it, and you can also enjoy through reading it. Next is translation. Translation is something we translate it to the language 1 to language 2. For example, we translate English language to Hindi, that's translation. Same as for book, videos, etc. Next is appropriate. Next is fiction. Fiction is kind of a story that is not real, it is an imaginary story. For example, I went on the moon and see the moon on my through my naked eye. So it's all in my imagination. So that's a fiction story, not a real one. Non-fiction is the real and true information for books. Let's take a short break. Now it's the time to start our lesson. Introduction. Libraries since ages have stored materials that enable ideas, knowledge, and experiences to be passed on from generation to generation. They build collections tailored to the needs and goals to the organization they serve. For example, academic libraries build collection for students, teachers, and along with them also for researchers. This collection is systematically organized by the library for use by the users. The library collection serves as an important resource in education, work, and recreation of millions of people. But here, librarians not only organize the collection but also provide assistance to library users in various ways and to support learning, interest, and also in other activities. Assistance and services provided by the librarians, they various. For example, first is reference is also provided by the librarians to the library users. And information services, like any type of information which is needed, is also provided by the librarians. These services promote the use of library materials, connect the users with the library resources, and also meet the information needs to the users. Whether it can be online or in physical way, etc. Information services meets the information needs of the users. Outcomes of the lesson. After completion this lesson, learner can able to explain the need and importance of services offered by a library, and also they can list out the type of services offered by libraries that is essential and desirable. And also can describe the various essential services. Students can also identify and discuss various desirable services. And last but not least, they can elaborate upon the types of services offered by various places, for example, academic, special and public libraries. First, we will look what is the need for information. Information is crucial for all our activities. People need information for study, research and for pursuing their careers. And also for their health care, and problem solving, they help to solve any problem and resolve any type of difficult situation also. And for also recreation and a lifelong learning. Students need information to supplement their textbook studies and for their project work. Teacher needs information for teaching and research. Fifth, professionals like doctors, engineers, consultants, etc. needs information to pursue their careers efficiently. Information like what to study and how to behave, where to apply, how to apply, what type of rules and ethics should be followed. Sixth, planners and policy makers need information to frame policies and take correct decisions, because library has years and years and years ago's book, so it helps them to solve and resolve their difficult and problems. Seventh, researchers need information to remain updated in their areas. Eighth, to find out new areas of research and to solve the problems happening there. And ninth, any research problem a researcher face, so library helps them to resolve them. After many survey of information, requirements of all category of library users. There are 4 types of information needs of the users have been identified. First is current information needed. Second is exhaustive information needed. Third is everyday information needed. And fourth is catching up information need. First, we will look what is current information need. When library users need information to keep themselves up to date with latest developments in their areas of interest on a regular basis. So, the current information works an important. Exhaustive information need. When a library user wants to have information on a particular topic as exhaustive as possible, researchers mainly have this type of information need when they start their research work. Third is everyday information need is the needed. This is used for a specific piece of information which users require generally in their day-to-day activities. And last, fourth is catching up information need. It needs during arises when a user who is not conversant with a particular subject field. So, they require an account of overall development. Library services. To meet the information to the users, libraries provide a range of services. First is reference services and second is information services. So, we look what is reference services. Reference services are concerned with direct personal assistance to the user seeking informations. It covers direct services such as assistance to the user in the library and it tools assistance in searching. And long-range reference services, literature search and completion of bibliography. Helping in research, etc., and indirect services such as selection, organization, maintenance of the library material for reference services. Task of reference section such as keeping a record of reference queries, preparation of publicity material, evaluation and reference section. Let's take a short break. Welcome back to our classes. Now we will look at what is information services. Information services are provided in anticipation of various needs of the users of libraries and fall under information services. For example, it includes current awareness services, indexing and abstracting service. At times, these services are provided on demand from the users. It is defined in two various topics. First is reference and second is information. So, reference services is a traditional services which is providing through our generation to generation. And information service is a non-traditional services which is recently made. Second, reference services emphasis is on providing documentations. But information services only emphasis on providing information. Third, reference services user in given the material or directed to the locate the material exact information. It happens in reference services, but in information services, attempt is made to provide exact information. Fourth, reference services aim is to instruct the users, and on the other hand, information service is less concerned with the instructing users. Reference services are provided on the demand, but information services is provided in anticipation of the needs. Reference services can also be called as passive services, in which library staff waits for the user to approach them and make a demand. And information services also be called an active service. In this, library staff provide services in anticipation to keep user well and informed. Next is responsive information services. It is also known as passive information services because it provides in response to the request from the library users. And on the other hand, anticipatory information services is known as active information service and provide in anticipation. Now we will look what is basic or essential services rendered by all type of libraries. There are total 7 types of services. We'll look it further. In those 7, first one is lending or circulation services. is also known as circulation service, in which each library follows a particular issue system for lending the books and receiving it back. Academic, public and special libraries offer these services. Through rules and regulation of circulation, service may be differ. In some libraries, issues and returning of the books are handled manually. But in some libraries, this service is provided through a computerized, or we can say digitally. Second is reservation of documents. Reservation of documents is important services. Second, the library makes provision to reserve a book in the user's name. Third, whenever the book is returned, library inform the user book is reserved so that he or she can get the particular book. Third is interlibrary loan. Even the largest libraries can't afford to have a sufficient collection to satisfy users. So, library users usually have an agreement with each other libraries to share their resources on reciprocal basis when it is needed. Under this agreement, the required document is then borrowed from the other library on interlibrary loan and is given to the users. Assistance in the use of library and library tools. Assistance in the use of library and library tools. Readers need directional and guidance, so they help them and guide them to get their needs and requirements. For example, magazines, location of the textbooks, references and availability of card, etc. Thank you.